For the next part of our annotation lecture, I'm going to show you how to insert room tags. I will also show you how to troubleshoot, including room separators, deleting tags, putting them back in. One thing that we won't be going over in this lecture is how to edit the text or customize your room labels. We will be doing the room label editing and customization along with our title block customization because those two techniques are really similar to one another, and the room labels are a great intro. So I'm going to put those two under the same umbrella. But to get started, in our architecture menu, you might notice there is a room label right here. The shortcut is RM. And the way that it works is Revit actually looks for rooms within your model using walls. So if you can see here, it sees the bounding walls of the master and it puts in a room label. It also, so until you click, it won't put it in, but there's the hall closet, there's the bathroom. Now some gray area is areas like this where it's a big open space. So we're gonna go over how to troubleshoot those rooms in just a moment. So to start off, I'm going to start in my master, and as soon as I see that the room label looks like it's about in the right place, remember I can always change it later, I'm going to go ahead and click, and then I can come into the bathroom, I can come into the hallway, as well as this closet here. So remember, I'm going to come back to these open spaces, and if I wanted to, for now, I could at least start in the kitchen. If you'll notice, it might look like it's limited to the kitchen, but in fact, it's blue all the way around. So it is the entire space. So if I click near the kitchen, and if I try to do another one down here, it gives me a warning, like, hey, there's multiple rooms. For now, I can just hit OK and be like, it's all right, Revit. I'll take care of it in just a moment. And now what we want to do when we're done putting in rooms, go ahead and hit escape, and let's edit these room labels. So this isn't room 1, this is actually our master bedroom. And on the first floor, you should name all of your rooms starting with the 100. That means it's on the first floor, and I could actually call this like 101. But I'm going to start with 100. And then from there, kind of go clockwise or in somewhat of an orderly fashion. We can do bath 102, 101. We're going to do hall 102. And you might be wondering, why on earth would you name a hallway? Well, it's a space, and in that space, you're going to have to specify finishes. Whether it's the wall finishes, the floor finishes. And also, if you're building this if it's a new build, the fire marshal will want a smoke detector and fire alarm in the hallway. And so we'll need to properly label that room. So in our code review, we can put that there is going to be a fire alarm in hall 102. Pretty technical, I know, but before you know it, this will be your life. Living 105. All right, there we go. So there's our new room labels. Let's talk about the room separator first. So right next to room, there's a room separator. If I click on that, it takes me to sketch mode, and essentially I just need to draw a line or segment of lines that separates the kitchen from the living room. This doesn't have to be perfect, but you need to make sure it goes basically from one wall to another wall. So I'm going to come from here. Okay, so it's kind of mad something is overlapping. That's okay. Let's see if that makes it happy. Yeah, so you'll notice now, if I click on the kitchen, before it was going all the way around here, but now it's just limited to here. You can see that red bounding box. Let's try it down here in the living room. Same thing. Now it's like this awkwardly shaped backwards Utah. It now knows the difference between the two spaces. But troubleshooting, we don't want to see these lines because these lines look like it's some sort of a threshold. whether we are changing like the material here, you know, whether or not we probably don't want to see this line. So to turn off that line, if you've done your midterm, we talked about the VV menu, or the visibility and graphics override. So go ahead and type in VV for me. It takes us to this visibility and graphic overrides. That's where the VV comes from. And from here, under the architecture category, that's what I filtered it under. If you scroll down to lines, you'll see a plus button. Go ahead and go to the expansion or hit that plus button. You'll see under the R's, room separation. So deselect that for me. It doesn't delete it, but it makes it so that it's no longer visible here. And that's what we want. So after that, hit OK. And again, if I click on the kitchen, those lines are still there. They're doing its job. I just can't see them anymore, which is great. That's exactly what I want. So that was a really quick intro into showing you how to place the room labels and how to insert a room separator, as well as turn off the room separator. Now let's talk about some troubleshooting. So if you ever try to let me start here. Let's say you're working and you accidentally. So first it'll warn you. It's saying, hey, the tag was deleted, but the corresponding room still exists. Okay, so this is if you delete the tag on accident. I'm going to hit escape. If you accidentally deleted it, really easy. Instead of creating another room, because Revit just told us the room is still there, and you can verify it if you come in the room and hover, like I'm just kind of waving like a magic Revit wand and it's like, oh, hey, there's my room. If that happens, you can always go to tag room or RT for room tag. What this does, do you see that it's bringing the room label back? And Revit is so amazing. It remembered it's the master bedroom and it remembers that it's 100. Okay. So with that, now that we've got these in, let's talk about actually completely removing a room tag. So if you ever wanted to do that, first you have to delete and then look for the actual room perimeter. I think that's what you would call this. And then hit delete. So now a room was deleted from all model views, but still remains in the project. So this essentially means that like the room label's gone, the bounding box is gone. So if you go to tag room, it's no longer there, right? So tag room, again, is different than room. Here's what I mean by that. If I hit tag room, nothing is happening when I hover over here because there's no room to tag. But if I go over the kitchen, it's like, oh yeah, there's a kitchen here. I can add another tag. So you really only use tag room when you have created a room where the label was deleted, okay? If you're trying to create a room, including its tag, that's where you go to room or RM. I know it's a really subtle difference between the two, but once you work for a minute, it'll come to you. Now this time, remember how before it was so nice, it anticipated the room and it knew all the information? Well, because I deleted the master bedroom, it's no longer there, right? It's now just a generic room 106. It kind of picked up where I left off. Again, thank you, Revit, for anticipating. But we're going to change this back to master bedroom. And I have that at 100. Eventually I'll get it right. Okay. Elements have duplicate number value. So this is telling me that maybe, just maybe, somewhere in my project on a schedule, master bedroom 100 might still exist. So we'll have to watch out for that. But I think this is a really good overall in one, how to create a room and do some troubleshooting. Now with this, you're not just creating a room label. Later on, as we go into the semester, we will be talking about schedules. Now, schedules are a way of getting a lot of information on your plan into text form. And most often that's done in a table. So for example, there could be a schedule of all of the different flooring finishes. So instead of labeling everything with a keynote, somebody would go look at a schedule, and in the master bedroom, they would find a line in the table that said master bedroom, and then they would see like east wall is this, west wall is that, and so on. The floor is this, the baseboards are this, and you could put as many finishes as you want in there. So the room labels not only are labeling the rooms and finding out, the square footages and things like that, but you can also use it to do the schedules. So on that note, I said we weren't going to do any customization, but you can at least see the square footages. So if you click on the room tag and you go to properties, you can actually do the area or the volume with it. So if you have an owner that's like very concerned with like, this bedroom has to be this many square feet or that room has to be this many square feet, that's actually built right in to the room tag. Okay, so that's it for room tags. I hope that that's nice and straightforward. And remember, there's more on annotation coming. We will be talking about title blocks as well as dimensions. Thanks all.